ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن سيدنا وإمامنا حبيبنا وقائدنا رسول الله محمد اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليك سيدي يا رسول الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Welcome back, alhamdulillah, to another session, another Friday session. And I know that it comes after the khutbah. Most of you got like high dose of the talk and the khutbah, and lots of people do not want to hear a lot about, the reminder. But we try to make it quick, and inshallah, it's only a reflection on today's khutbah. That's why you find most of people here laying towards the wall, inshallah. Are you trying to be ready for sleeping? Muhammad, are you going to sleep, Muhammad? Okay, alhamdulillah, rabbil alamin. So one of the things that we want to understand, and we want to get about the topic for today's khutbah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it clear. Do you still remember the number of chapter? Chapter 22, which is Surah Al-Hajj, and verses 77, 78. When Allah is calling the believers, what's the first order? Irka'u wasjudu. Bow down, prostrate, only for Allah, worship Allah alone. And then the next verse, Allah said to us as believers that He had chosen us and we have been selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means that the Muslims are so special in the sight of Allah. In the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are the chosen group. And that's why in many times in the Quran, Allah is talking about His people, His own group. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they are the successful group, those people who can attain success in dunya and in the hereafter. But there is something just we didn't have time to talk about. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He reminded us about Islam, He said that this Islam that Allah had chosen you for, you have a reference to that Islam, or you have ancestors for that Islam. Even we have relationship, like in our deen, that relationship was before Rasulullah Muhammad. And why we mention this? Because there are lots of misconceptions, misunderstandings, misinterpretation, misrepresentation, that Islam is a new religion just came 14 centuries ago, which is completely wrong. And I wanted our young generation to get this information so they can understand what actually they are talking about. Islam is not a new religion. Allah said in this last verse, so 78, chapter 20, I want you to memorize this so you can check it. You can have the evidence when you talk with somebody. When Allah said, Millata abikum Ibrahim, you are following the same way, the same religion of your forefather Ibrahim. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his message is a continuation of the message of Ibrahim. Not only this, what might surprise you, the next statement inside this verse. Allah said, Huwa means Ibrahim. Huwa sammakumul muslimin. So who called us Muslims? Sayyidina Ibrahim. He gave us this name. So that name is not something new, but it's something related to Ibrahim. So Ibrahim was Muslim. Khalilur Rahman. Ibrahim, alayhi salatu wassalam, was a Muslim. And all the prophets and the messengers who came after, they were Muslims. So Ishaq, Ismail, Yaqub, Yusuf, Dawood, Sulaiman, Musa, Isa, all the prophets were Muslims. And there is something I just wanted you to pay attention to. That those who are Muslims nowadays, they got tricked and deceived by some people when they tried to divide us into groups. And they fueled that idea and injected the ummah with this idea. And every sector, every group started to be like, call their names themselves names. And we started to split our ummah and weaken ourselves by ourselves through these names. We started to hate one another based on these names, based on these titles. So you might have people, they call themselves like, we are Sufis, we are Salafis, we are Shafi'is, we are Hanafis. And they started to attack one another based on that name. Pay attention for that. You are a Muslim. Sometimes we think that you need to add something next to Muslim. Like it has to be, I don't know who put that idea in our minds. I don't know who fueled that. But you think like you want to add something next to Muslim. Muslim and Muslim plus Muslim, then dots. Who told you this? So let's say the madhahib, Shafi'i, Hanafi, Hanbali, that appeared after, long time after the death of Rasulullah and the companions, right? It wasn't at the time of Rasulullah. That's great. Even the groups like Sufis, Salafis, you know, that's something new. And if somebody, like sometimes they, Imam, like which group that you are related to? You know that question? I'm just a Muslim. That's it. Just Muslim without any flavors. I don't like spices, but you know, I don't like flavors too. Like, you are just a Muslim. That's it. Plain. Just a Muslim. Plain. Do not let them divide our ummah. I just wanted to ask you, who is the best of the creation of Allah? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Okay, what was his madhab? Was he Shafi'i? Hanafi? Just Muslim. Millata abikum Ibrahim. That's the way of your forefather Ibrahim. Huwa sammakum al-Muslimin. End of the story. Dot. Period. You are just a Muslim. And that's it. And when they found Muslims are united in the history, so how to divide that Islam? By splitting them into many pieces. So we can attack each piece alone by itself. And then we can fuel hatred amongst these groups. And we can, you know, call them by names. You know, this is bid'ah. This is the group of shaitan. Those are not right. We are the only one who is right. We are that. And we started to have, and think about this. Think about what's going on back home. About those masjid are not praying in that masjid, and those people in that masjid, they do not come to that masjid, and they start attack one another. Why? Because their imam has a certain view for a niqab. Their imam has a certain view for the beard, for the lihya. They came to us and they didn't make salam. When they pray tarawih, they pray 8, they do not pray 21. When they pray sunnah, they make dua before the ruku', not after the ruku'. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how many things that people started to become so silly when they cut the Muslim body, when they split our power based on these things? Wallahi, I swear by Allah, I saw somebody, and that's not ghiba because you do not know the person, even if I mention his name. But I saw somebody in the masjid started to raise his voice. You know what's his object? What's his, like, why he raised his voice? Why he's fighting in the masjid? Raised his voice in the house of Allah. If he raised his voice in Brother Hamza's house, people would say, stop, you are in his house. That's not a good thing. He's raising his voice in the house of Allah with curse and bad words. Why? Because the imam, when he started to recite al-Fatiha, he didn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And you know what? That ended up that they took the shoes from outside the masjid and they started to throw one another with the shoes inside the masjid. Wallahi. Why? Because the imam did not say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So what happened? Those people, because they did not have this knowledge, they didn't have any knowledge actually. Somebody just heard 2-3 lectures on YouTube and he called himself like, I am the scholar, I am Maulana. They have no share from the knowledge itself. They fuel hatred, wallahi. They call people, they are the people of bid'ah. That's haram, that's haram, that's haram. Whatever they call in the masjid, only haram. You know what, wallahi, I met a person one day. I was in the masjid. So, because of my thawb wasn't short enough according to his mind, so I extended my hand to shake his hand. And he didn't. He said, no, because you have bid'ah. I said, what kind of bid'ah? Just give me nasiha, advice, and inshallah, I will follow. It's not because your thawb is not short enough. Can you imagine? Those minds can talk with non-Muslims about the mercy of Islam. Do you think those are good representatives for Islam? Good ambassadors of Islam? Even if you was right, listen to what Allah had said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah, the Creator, talking to the best of His creation. Look at what Allah said. Allah said, O Muhammad, call out to the way of your Lord with wisdom and good approach. Good approach. And Allah said, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. O Muhammad, if you was harsh, if your heart was hard, they will abandon you. If you was so aggressive, tough in your da'wah, they wouldn't listen to you. How Rasulullah spread Islam? By stick? By sword? No. He spread Islam by winning the hearts. Before you give your da'wah, it has to be preceded by smile. You have to understand the capacity of people. Allah Himself, the one who created us, Allah said, you memorize, inshallah, this part. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. What does it mean? Allah does not give you what you cannot handle. Allah cannot put burdens over your shoulders. But who can understand this Islam? Those people trying to give us version of Islam, wallahi, it's not the Islam of Rasulullah. Rasulullah, you know the verse that what I gave today in the khutbah. Allah said, وَفَعَلُوا الْخَيْرَ. Do the goodness. To whom? To whom? Everyone. Imam, like those are kuffar. Those are kuffar. They cannot take our goodness. No. You know what? If you are giving your brother goodness, give it also to the non-Muslim. Be nice. Allah said in the Quran, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. You know what's nas? People. Say good to people. He didn't say good only to Muslims. That's our Islam. Islam is the religion of mercy. And whoever wanted to show you that Islam is something different, tell him, where did you get that Islam from? And my slogan, when I was even in my masjid in Egypt, and I think like if some of my students in Egypt watching me right now on Facebook, they would remember that statement. I led them many times. That was in 2004, 2002, 2006 in my masjid in Egypt. I used to have this statement, من دعاك إلى الإسلام من غير باب الرحمة فلا تسمع له. Whoever called you to Islam without coming to you from the gate of mercy, do not listen to him. You know why? Because how Allah introduced Himself, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And Allah said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have sent you only as a mercy to the entire creation. So if Allah is the God of mercy, Rasulullah is the messenger who came with mercy. Quran, Allah said about Quran that it has the mercy of Allah. So if Quran, the source of mercy, Allah is the one who is the most merciful. Rasulullah is the messenger of mercy. And now you have somebody else calling you to Islam in a very harsh way. So tell me which Islam that you are calling about. So what's your identity? I am a Muslim. Muslim and what? Muslim and what? Just Muslim. Do you like any flavors in this? No. Muslim. What's your madhab? Muslim. What's your name? Muslim. What's your deen? Islam. Who is your role model? Rasulullah. And who else next to Rasulullah? Just Rasulullah. And everyone is following Rasulullah. Anyone comes with a religion against the teachings of Rasulullah, he is not my way. Even if he called himself hundreds Maulanas. Even if he has a red cap bigger than mine. Anyone teaching you Islam without following the way of Rasulullah, do not listen to him. May Allah guide us to the right path. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. I'm sorry, I think that I exceeded my limit, but inshallah, I believe Dr. Yusuf will forgive me. Would you forgive me, doctor? But say yes. Say yes. Okay, alhamdulillah. At least if he said yes, alhamdulillah. So may Allah forgive us all. Allahumma ameen. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بما فيه من آيات والذكر الحكيم وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Yes.